We were just thrilled when we found out we were pregnant. We were just over the moon. And then when we found out we were having a little girl, it was one of the greatest things that we'd ever experienced. And everything was okay until we had our 20-week scan. And that's sort of the first sign that we had that there might be something a bit abnormal about the pregnancy. It just became a matter of determining exactly what the issue was going to be and how bad it was. And at that point, we were referred down to the specialist team at the Mater. That last 20 weeks from when we knew there was an issue to when Emerson was born was excruciating. An excruciatingly long, painful, anxiety-ridden process, and we knew we were only at the start.
I was sure, like as a couple and as a family, that we could get through it and survive it, but at the same time, there's just so much worry and so much unknown.
I had a scheduled C-section at 39 weeks. We were hopeful that I would make it that far. We knew what to expect, but when we walked into the delivery room, there was obviously the regular obstetrician, anaesthetist, the nursing staff that helped support the cesarean, but then we had the full neonatal team there ready for Emerson to come out to take her straight up to the NICU. We thought we were prepared, but the reality of it was so much more overwhelming and just bizarre mix of emotions. The excitement of finally meeting your baby girl, but then she basically was gone with the team and Grant from that point. So the fact that I couldn't hold her for such a long time after she was born was really, really challenging.
One thing I remember very sort of vividly is just sitting in the NICU with Emerson and looking down at this little baby who's got, you know, lines coming into her everywhere, nasal gastric, all these monitors on her, and thinking, how are we going to do this? One of the senior nursing staff that we'd worked with before came in and, I don't know, she must have saw me looking a bit dazed and confused, and she's like, oh, do you want to have a cuddle? And I was like, can I? How will I even do that? And, you know, I got to hold her for a fair while until they had to do the next sort of round of tests. And it was just amazing feeling like, okay, I can do this.
I could not fault the care that we received at the Mater NICU. They understand that it isn't just getting a baby through the process medically and then having them discharged. It's helping an entire family get through that process together. The experience as a parent and as a family is so challenging that there are certain things like the recliners, like the ConMed beds, like having access to breast pumps. A lot of those items are there to help support the parents in the things that they can do. Skin to skin bonding with their baby, for mothers expressing milk if they can. You know, the baby is discharged, they go home to that family. It's important they feel bonded and that they feel connected and empowered to take care of that child as well. I think that's what a lot of that additional equipment does. We used to joke that we didn't care how long we were in hospital, but as long as we were home for Christmas. But as it happened, it ended up, we had cascading complication after cascading complication, and our 2 or 3 month journey turned into over 5 months. But our surgeon, who was amazing, actually said that him and his entire team were on Operation Get Emerson Home by Christmas. It was a day-to-day assessment of how she'd progressed and how she'd improved and whether she was ready. So walking out of the hospital with her on the 19th of December, just in time for Christmas, with the all clear from our surgeon, you know, with a lot of provisos about obviously her condition, was one of the greatest days of our life. The moment we had been waiting for since that 20-week scan, it had finally arrived and she was finally at home with us and we could finally have her just be with us. And there was all these surreal moments. Like, I remember we took her upstairs and showed her a room. And there was a moment where I think Grant left and Georgia left, and I was alone with her in the room, and I realised this is the first time I've ever been alone with her. I've never been alone with my baby. I realised that you're here. And that night about 7 o'clock or 7:30, I remember I was just holding her standing in the room, and I just burst into tears, felt all this emotion, and I realised that at the handover of the nursing shift at around 7 or 7:30 was the time that I would always leave her in the hospital. So I'd always have to, do her handover with the nursing staff, tuck her in, and I'd always have to leave her. And then I realised that it was that same time of day and I didn't have to leave her at the hospital. I got to keep her. Yeah, it just didn't even feel like it was real. It was just too wonderful.